What's something completely false that your parents told you as a child? My dad told me that the windshield wipers would count the raindrops on the windshield, and when it reached 1 million then they would wipe the rain away. If it was raining harder they went faster because it reached 1 million faster. Lol, classic dad trolling. My dad convinced me that the alarm light on the inside actually means the car is about to fly, but it doesn't turn on when anyone else is in the car. That's an oddly nice story to me and IDKY. I'm stealing this if I have kids LMAO. Turn off the lights in the back seat before we get pulled over. Is this a lie parents tell across the world? I was told this too. Wait, that's a lie. My dad would always say this. Funny enough, now that I can drive I can see that I can't look out the rear view mirror properly with the light on. He could have just said that and young me would have went, oh, okay. It is super annoying to drive with the light on in the back. I don't blame my mom for telling me this. Asked my mother why I didn't have a willy like my brother. She told me she picked me up by it when I was a child and it fell off. I cried for about 3 hours for the penis I never had. I remember thinking as a child that the umbilical cord was basically an extension of the penis, and they basically determined the size of your penis by where they cut it. Obviously for girls they just cut it right at the base. I'm a man and I remember when I was a little boy coming out of the bath, my mother would tell me to quickly cover up before a crow swooped in and pecked my penis. I was genuinely always terrified whenever naked during my early childhood and would always have an eye on open windows. Weird shit. When I was about 3 I asked my mom why she didn't have one. She said it fell off because she told a lie. For the rest of my childhood she could tell when I was lying because I would say something, and then I'd check. Freud theorized that women sometimes develop hysteria because of their rooted feelings of inadequacy at not having a penis at a young age. Somewhere, he's on a cloud somewhere reading this and nodding. As a kid I used to play with my belly button a lot lol, and my mom told me that the knot in my belly button held my skin together and if I keep playing with it I'll untie the knot and fall apart. It fucking terrified me but it worked. Story time. I had a boyfriend when I was 18 who liked to play fight and tickle. He would put his finger in my belly button to make me hysterical. One day he did this and he had a jagged nail and cut my skin in there a little bit. It got infected and I had to take antibiotics and wash it with special soap for augays as it took a really long time to heal. Don't fug with belly buttons, man. If your belly button unscrews your butt will fall off was the one I've heard. Apparently kids playing with their belly buttons is a common concern? My old man has had a beer belly for years and used to tell me and my brothers that he birthed us. Did we believe him though? Absolutely. Your dad's a seahorse. That my mom, who worked in the chilled department of a supermarket, would have to milk the cows at the back of the shop and bottle the milk before taking it to the shop floor. There aren't even any fields at the back of the shop. I work in produce and when I was filling up the peppers these two little kids said, "Whoa, that's a lot of peppers." Unlike myself I replied with, "You should see all the ones growing in the back," walked away watching their expressions of awe. I wonder how long until someone debunks that for them. This one actually made me audibly laugh. My dad had me convinced that if I were to ever look at my own butt, I would explode. What the hell? I'm cracking up, I just love how this didn't even have a reason to be said to you, the mad lad just said it anyways. WTF. They told us that teddy bears ate spiders. Did this comfort you or make you scared? Can I be the first one to say, what the fuck? I'm putting your Christmas, birthday money from the family into your post office account. Dad promptly goes out down the pub. Same. Birthday and Christmas were only a month apart so I would tend to get some money instead of presents from family and relatives around that time of year. My parents would always tell me I had to learn how to save my money, so I was never really allowed to use it, just save it for something special. Usually my money would go missing and I couldn't find where it was, only to find out my father, who smoked a pack a day, took it to buy cigarettes, or also would use it for drinking money. Frustrated by this, me and my brother asked our parents if we could get a bank account, so instead of leaving our money laying around, we would deposit it somewhere where it would be safe and would be able to be saved for a long period of time. After saving after a year or two, we wanted to get either a new game console or game, and adding up what we knew we had, we determined that together we had enough. We go to the bank. I had a balance of $0, my brother had a balance of -$10, yes negative. Appears since parents signed us up for the account, and cause we were children, they had full access to our account. When we confronted our parents about it we got the whole, "You're the child, we're the adult" speech or, "You take money from us every day just by raising you." The only lesson we learned was if you save your money you will never get to use it. So we pretty much stopped saving our gift money and tried to spend it ASAP. Am I the only one who doesn't know what the fug is a post office account? Don't worry, if you tell the truth we won't do anything. Followed by me telling the truth, then getting a slap and being grounded for the day. That's how you raise a compulsive liar. We can handle the truth and you can handle these hands. How to give your child trust issues. I read Treasure Island and asked my older sister what scurvy was and she lied and said it's when pirates and sailors spend too long at sea with no women and become gay. I didn't question it because I was like 10 and apparently dumb as shit. Then we were watching a TV show about the colonies and how scurvy was rampant and killing people. I was really confused at how scurvy could kill and even more confused when my mom said oranges prevent scurvy. You put the oranges in your bum to block out the pirates from getting in there, obviously. If you lock your bedroom door, the room will set on fire. Apparently leaving them open lets fire spread. No rooms had locks in our house, including the bathroom. It made sense when we were younger, but as we got older, they still didn't see the need for one. Super awkward for guests, I felt. Even when they got their new house done up, no locks on the bathrooms again. It doesn't help that my dad has a habit of closing the door even when no one is in there, so you have to do the awkward knock every time. Santa was created by Satan worshippers to take the focus away from Jesus. I wish I was kidding. That's insane. Everyone knows that Jesus was created by Satan worshippers to take the focus away from Santa. Your parents had it all wrong. Me too. I remember coming back from Christmas break in first grade, doing our little show and tell, and when it was my turn I showed the class my new Barbie camera. One of the parents asked me, "Ooh, did Santa give that to you?" And I just looked at her dead in the eye and very bluntly said, "Santa's not real." Cue the entire class of 25 small children freaking out and crying while teachers and parents tried to calm them down. And that's how I ruined Christmas for a bunch of 6 to 7-year-olds. Edit, a word. Yeah, me too. We didn't get to celebrate Christmas at all. We were not Jehovah's Witnesses. I remember someone unironically saying, if you move the "n" in Santa, he becomes Satan. It's not a coincidence. When the ice cream man is playing his jingle, he has run out of ice cream. My granddad would make himself seem great by going and getting some from the ice cream man's personal stash. Later found out the ice cream man was my granddad's weed dealer. Meh, always had a screwball on Sundays, so fun all round. Edit, typo. Your granddad's weed dealer gave away ice cream? They told me that if I keep on eating that much yogurt, my teeth will get huge. I got so pissed when I realized it wasn't true. My grandmother didn't like me wasting bread crusts and she also thought that all little girls want curly hair. So she told me, eat the crusts of your bread, it will make your hair curl. I totally believed her, but I really wanted straight hair, so I made sure to never eat the crusts. You won't always have a calculator handy. This deeply frustrates me. My grades on math can go from 9 to 10 to 4 to 5, not kidding, I hope I was, just by taking away the calculator from me, even if the exam that I do with my calculator is much longer. I'm not that bad at math, it's just that I take ages to operate without a calculator. That's why I struggle with math, but I love physics and technology. I don't know if this subject is taught in any country apart from Spain. It's like high school level engineering, they let us use calculators in the exams. My teachers are basically sabotaging my math grades and some of my classmates based on the assumption that I won't always have a calculator in handy, when in reality there's always one in my pocket. Turning the light on in the back of the car at night is illegal. Yup. I am 30 and feel like a criminal when my friend needs to use the overhead light in the car at night. I'm surprised how many people had that told to them. My parents just explained that it's hard to see and that was enough for me. That when the beehive hairstyle was popular, some women ended up dying because black widow spiders nested inside of them. And then they always wondered why I hated spiders for the rest of my life. Why spiders? They missed the easy opportunity to say bees build a hive in the hair, and that's where the hairstyle got its name from. In my country there's this saying that parents sometimes tell their kids and it has fricked me up honestly when I was little. They say that if you're gonna act poorly or too loud, some random man will appear, come into your room and just take you with him. So my whole childhood whenever I felt I did something bad, I was watching my back for this dude, he never appeared. The boogeyman's going to come get you. Those are called rehab escorts. And they use handcuffs. That my earwax was shit from flies. Oh my god. That migraines were caused by pressure buildup from an inability to fart. Other than me being handsome? LMAO, I posted this comment yesterday when I was working, feeling dead, and now I get all these good comments. Hey, shut the fuck up. You're beautiful. When I was about 6 years old, my dad convinced me that turtles grow fur under their shells. Fast forward to the 8th grade, I'm in my US history class and the topic of turtles comes up, and I explain to my teacher that turtles have fur. He then proceeds to turn on the projector and Google "Do turtles have fur?" in front of the whole class. They don't. Never been so embarrassed in my life. I told my dad this story a couple months ago. I'm 17 now, and he still laughs uncontrollably about it whenever I mention it. Fertles. If you eat too many M&Ms, your tongue will permanently change color. I think my mom told me this to deter me from eating a lot of chocolate, but honestly I would have loved a blue tongue. Not a single, but a string of lies. Bear with me. Lived with the family in Japan for a year at the end of the 80s. Time comes to go back to the home country, and the number of toys I amassed as a kid in Japan was not small. They were also very, very cool toys, them being from Japan and all. Parents promise we will take them all with us home, all the while putting them in strange big black bags for garbage? But since air freight is so expensive, they said, we will simply put them on a ship in order to save some money. There will be home before I know it, they said, but only after we arrive, since ships are much slower than planes. Got home, and could not stop asking them, when will the toys arrive? I want to share them with my new classmates. They were very cool. After a few months of constant nagging, they sit me down and say they have to tell me something. Proceed to explain that, unfortunately, the ship sank on the way, along with all my toys on it. I was so miserable, and retold the story to all friends, for a couple of years. Many years later, during a family dinner, I said, do you remember when all my toys from Japan sank? It was so sad and unfortunate. They explained it was a lie all along, and that, yes, those were indeed garbage bags. TLDR, FML. I knew the direction this was heading from the start. I moved states at the end of primary school, and my parents decided to go through and throw away as much crap as they could while I wasn't home, citing I'd never know. But I did. I may have not known exactly what was chucked, but over the years I'd noticed that I couldn't find things and assumed they were binned. Wow, that's horrible. We love you. Harsh. Mom and I moved in with my now dad. I was around 4 years old. Christmas rolls around. He had this light-up skeleton tree topper in lieu of an angel. He takes it out of the box. I asked why it was a skeleton. He got this horrified, shocked look on his face. Oh no. We must have forgot to poke holes in the box last year. I thought my angel suffocated and we were putting her dead body on the Christmas tree. Cried for hours. I'm so sorry it upset you, but I'm snorting. Face with tears of joy. I grew up in an area where slugs destroyed many a yard. As a child, I found them to be utterly adorable and didn't understand why everyone didn't like them. My mom told me that slugs loved salt, that it was their favorite food. She said when I fed them salt, they sometimes wiggled a happy dance because they loved it so much. I happily went around the garden with a salt shaker, killing who knows how many slugs. I was maybe 4 to 5. It's horrifying how cute that must have seemed. That is both hilarious and horrible. If you're not good, we are taking you to the children's home. My mother kept the payment receipt from the hospital that delivered us, just so that she could say, I could still return you, you know. We about died laughing every time. Real talk, as adoptees my brother and I got this. You had no family and no name until we gave you one. And if you don't behave, we will give you back to the agency. We were adopted as infants, and to me, the threat seemed 100% credible. Did lasting damage to my ability to trust. If you don't brush your teeth, you'll die. Well, technically that's the truth. I was scared of lightning. Then my dad told me it's just God taking pictures of me, so don't be scared. So I used to run to a window whenever there's a thunderstorm and pose for my picture. Edit, my first ever Reddit gold. Thank you, kind stranger. My mom told us thunder was the sound of God and Santa bowling. So when I was whatever age you become potty trained, we were going on vacation to somewhere outside of the US, and my mom told me that diapers were illegal there and that if I didn't go to the bathroom in a toilet like grown-ups, my parents would be arrested and go to jail for a long time. It worked and no one went to prison, at least as far as I know. As a parent of a toddler, I'm not using this one at. Nope. No ideas here. Cracking your knuckles gives you arthritis. My parents always told me it was going to make my knuckles really big. Listen, my dad is still cracking up about it every time, and I still can't believe he did me like that. When I was about 6-ish, I asked him how birds could sit on power supply lines, used Google Translator for this, hope all of you know what I mean, without getting electrocuted. My beloved wanker of a dad said, "'Cause they got special feet that make them immune to it," instead of just admitting he didn't have a fucking clue. But I believed and never second-guessed it until it came up in physics class. The teacher asked us and I raised my hand, proud AF of knowing the answer, and thank all the gods for the teacher not picking me. I was shooketh when I heard the actual truth. This man almost ruined my reputation, self-esteem and confidence. He's great, though. When I was little, Mum would say that we were going to the zoo, but she took us to the pet shop. Were you guys strapped for cash? Seems like a halfway decent compromise to me. That smell just means there's a skunk nearby. Lies. Was just marijuana. It took me way too long to realize that the funny-smelling statue my parents had in their room was not a statue at all, but a really cool low-key bong. If you don't clean your plate, you'll get an ugly wife. Every grain of rice you leave in your bowl will be a pockmark on your future husband's face. Read this in the Joy Luck Club. My dad once told me and my brother that the guy who worked at Out Corner store liked to kidnap kids and eat them like the witch from Hansel and Gretel, and that some people had to eat people to survive, so the government gave certain places a pass on that. So as long as he took them from the store by law, he could eat them. He told us a similar story with a church about an hour drive away. Said they did human sacrifices and would just pick someone who walked in once a day and kill them, and it counted as religious freedom. I believed both of these way longer than I'd like to admit. Turns out he just thought it was funny to force us to go into those places, and apparently worked as a quick punishment. Wish I was kidding. Edit, thank you for the gold, kind stranger. Your dad sounds like a special kind of sadist. I noted that a picture of my mom after giving birth to me looked like her sister. They assured me it wasn't. I found out through a cousin when I was 15 that she was a surrogate, and it was in fact her in the picture. Your mom will get better. That's rough. You okay, dude? That'll never amount to anything and can never trust anyone but them. Oop, time for a visit to our raised narcissists. That farmers spray painted the backs of sheep for identification, so they remember their names. This is only half true. Yesterday my boyfriend enlightened me on the fact that farmers actually paint the underbellies of the male sheep, so they know which females have been mounted. Childhood equals ruined. Don't swim on an full stomach. Because when kids are excited they exert themselves physically. When they do that right after eating they tend to throw up. I've been told waiting 30 minutes reduces the risk of your kid puking in the pool. To be fair, this was a commonly believed myth up until a few years ago, so most parents who said this genuinely believed it was dangerous to swim soon after eating. They weren't lying, they were just misinformed. That life would get easier once I finished school. The whole sticks and stones spiel. Every bruise, broken bone and laceration healed right away. The injuries to my soul never, ever did. Stitches for a couple of weeks, or a cast for 6 were inconvenient, but very endurable. More like sticks and stones leave behind obvious evidence of battery. Words drill deep into your very essence, and torture you forever, and nobody believes you, and are angry at you for even bringing it up. That if I choosed the button with the big orange triangle in the car next to all the other buttons, the car would explode. Plot twist, it just turns on the turn signals. According to my parents, that button would eject me from the car. That someone stole one of my childhood dogs. 30 years later my mom told me she wandered onto the highway next to our house and got splattered. You have to go to college or you'll never have a job. That ice cream is spicy, you won't like it. You need to get straight A's in school or else you'll end up unemployable and homeless, thanks for stressing me out. No one even gives a shit about your grades once you're an adult. You'll never make it in life without a man, my dad said that to me in front of my grandma. It was really embarrassing, but when we left she hugged me and whispered, "Don't listen to that. You don't need a man to be happy, I'm still single but I'm also better off than most of my family. Your parents don't always know what's best for you." My mom told me that children were forbidden in a nearby shopping mall. I later found out she just wanted a few minutes alone to do some shopping without me screeching constantly and wanting her to buy me something. That the propane delivery guy stole children and locked them in a prison. Chitty chitty bang bang only reinforced this for me. I'll tell you when you're older. Be a doctor, your life will be easy once you get into the field. Naivety won this. That unions are corrupt, that anyone who wanted more workers' rights were lazy and entitled, and that handwork always lead to a middle-class lifestyle. My mom told me many lies. We have a long bridge in the GTA. They close it when it's windy. I asked how they know when it's too windy and she told me when 3 cars get blown over they close it. I was mildly traumatized by that. I have more if anyone is interested. At my grandparents' house, we were told not to go to the other side of our basement because some Buddhist spirit was there to kill us. My family is Catholic. That blowing really hard would turn the stoplight green. They were watching the other light and had us start blowing when it was yellow. They told us to be especially good boys at night because the man in the moon was real, and that he could see everything we did at night, even through clouds and fog, and under the bedsheets.